here to bring you up to speed. Those has been making headlines from across 47 counties and, of course, across our borders as far as news is concerned. I've got plenty lined up for you, but first things first, here are the day's top stories.
Cyrus had concerns about his safety. He was actually making arrangements to better secure himself.
The year 1992, when we were student leaders, could easily be called the Jirongo year.
We say pole to you for losing a father, for a friend, and a leader.
Tonight on EBN Weekend Edition, friends, family and political leaders gathered to pay tribute to the former Lugari Member of Parliament Cyrus Jirongo during a memorial service held at Sitam Valley Road Church.
A great opportunity for expanding our partnership. We intend to work together with you.
This development affirms an objective reality that has long existed. Somaliland meets the legal, political, and institutional criteria of statehood under international law.
Israel recognizes Somaliland as an independent and sovereign state, a decision that has been met with strong condemnation from Somalia, which labeled Israel's action as unlawful, a violation of its sovereignty and territorial integrity.
Nilijaribu kumbeba ili at least tuokoe maisha yake, lakini ikakuwa sitaweza.
Saida unaita hata mtu azitembea usiku. Ukifika saa 2 lazima uko kwa nyumba. Ukitembea masaa mengine hapa utapigwa, utaporwa.
Businesses brought to a standstill in parts of Isiolo after angry residents barricade major roads linking Kambiaju and Kulamawe villages to the town, protesting the fatal shooting of a 23-year-old man in the area. The Kenya Meteorological Department issues a heavy rainfall warning for several parts of the country, with rains expected to intensify throughout the weekend. Alright, we're live across the social media platform that is on Facebook, on YouTube, and you can as well send us your feedback through our SMS line, that is 23059. My name is Macharia, and EBN Weekend Edition starts now. And friends, family and political leaders gathered on Saturday to pay tribute to the late former Lugari Member of Parliament, that is Cyrus Jirongo, during a memorial service held at Sitam Valley Road Church. The service comes just days before his burial following his untimely death in a road accident on the morning of December 13th. Now, Jirongo was involved in a head-on collision in Naivasha, resulting in his death. Attendees, including fellow politicians and community leaders, remembered Jirongo as a dedicated and influential leader. Many described him as a figure who played a significant role in the political landscape, passing his commitment to the public service and his contributions to the community. Take a look.
We are here to honor a friend and a brother. I met Cyrus before he started, before his entry into politics, and in line with his character, he had come to the courts to bail out a friend, now a big shot in government. And in that process, because I too had gone to help that particular mutual friend, we got to know each other. Later we were to meet in Parliament. He was in government, we were in the opposition, but that did not stop our collaboration. We've collaborated with Cyrus in many political seasons. Moses Kuria mentioned some of it in the runner-up to the 2022 elections. We were planning on collaborating moving forward. It's not going to stop. I say aluta continua. And I want to say something maybe that has not been mentioned. Cyrus had concerns about his safety. He was actually making arrangements to better secure himself. This accident came before that time. So those questions will linger. But for now, we stand with the family.
I've known Cyrus for the last 32 years. 33 years to be precise. For those of us who are young student leaders at the advent of multipartyism, and I've got my classmates here who are in the committee. The year 1992, when we were student leaders, could easily be called the Jirongo year. As student leaders, especially radical ones who are opposed to the then government of Daniel Arap Moi, we used to, gossip about each other. This one is pretending to be upright, but he was seen with Jirongo, and you knew what that meant that time. John Nyongesa, kwa mchezo makoha, you know what I mean. But our entry into politics that particular time was shaped by this man who was very much determined. Later, of course, I worked very closely with Jirongo. John Nyongesa used to consult for him.
The condolences of my party, the Democratic Action Party of Kenya, to the UDP family that was led by our brother Cyrus Jirongo. We say pole to you for losing a father, for a friend, and a leader. Looking at the array of mourners here, you can tell that we are here to mourn not just a great son of the Mulembe nation, because he was a leader whose influence went beyond Western Kenya. Not just a great son of Kenya, and you can see he had friends from every corner of Kenya. You had Kikuyus, Luos, Kisis, Akambas, everybody from every corner of this country was a friend. And not just in Kenya, we've seen beyond Africa, East Africa.
Now, Israel has become the first country to formally recognize Somaliland as an independent and sovereign state, a historic move that could reshape political dynamics in the Horn of Africa. Now, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced that Israel will immediately pursue cooperation with Somaliland in key sectors including agriculture, health, technology, and the economy. Now, Netanyahu described the recognition as a step towards strengthening bilateral ties and promoting development in the region. The decision was met with strong condemnation from Somalia, which labeled Israel's action as an unlawful violation of its sovereignty and territorial integrity. Other countries, including Egypt, Turkey, and Djibouti, also criticized the move, warning that it could destabilize the fragile regional balance. The African Union, that is AU, has reaffirmed its support for Somali's unity and rejected any recognition of Somaliland, which has operated as a self-governing region since 1991, but has not previously been recognized by any nation.
A great opportunity for expanding our partnership. We intend to work together with you on economic fields, on agriculture, in the fields of social development, all the things that we hope we can assist you, and we obviously believe in this friendship.
This development affirms an objective reality that has long existed. Somaliland meets the legal, political, and institutional criteria of statehood under international law.
Right now, business was brought to a standstill in parts of Isiolo after angry residents barricaded major roads linking Kambi Yaju and Kulamawe villages to town, protesting the fatal shooting of a 23-year-old man in the area. The deceased, identified as Isaac Motavia, was allegedly shot dead by unknown assailants while outside an entertainment joint in Kambi Yaju. He is reported to have died on the spot. The incident sparked outrage among locals who accused security agencies of failing to contain rising insecurity in the area. Residents say armed robberies and violent attacks have become rampant in Kambi Yaju and its surroundings, instilling fear among members of the community. They are now calling for swift investigations into the killing and immediate action by the police to restore security. The protesters are also demanding the immediate transfer of officers stationed at Kulamawe police post, accusing them of negligence and ineffectiveness in addressing the persistent insecurity.
Chini kijana rafiki yangu, ndugu yangu, na nilijaribu sababu hakuna respond yote. Nilijaribu kumbeba, tukiangalia shati yangu nyuma iko na damu. Nilijaribu kumbeba ili at least tuokoe maisha yake, lakini ikakuwa sitaweza. Tulipiga station tukaambiwa hakuna gari kwa within.
Sasa vile tunataka serikali by the way mtupe security. Sasa hii unaita mtu ajitembea usiku. Ikifika saa 2 vile lazima uko kwa nyumba. Ukitembea masaa mengine hapa utapigwa, utaporwa, mwisho wanakumada tu. Hivyo tu atarudisha.
Waende tuleto fresh watu fresh. Ile kitu inaniudhi ni ya kwamba binadamu achukuliwe maana kama yule ndovu. Yule ndovu akiuawa inafuatiliwa mpaka haki ya hiyo ndovu inapatikana. Lakini mwanadamu akiuawa hakuna askari hata mmoja amerespond mpaka saa hii.
Maaskari wetu ndio wanataka kujua kazi gani wanafanya. Kama ni Saturday tunabishana na wako kijiji wako kujia return. Hiyo return watatuambia kama ndio kazi yao.
All right, now the Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has announced that the government will intensify its crackdown on illegal alcohol and drug trafficking with a special focus on Kenya and Uganda border points in Trans Nzoia and Busia counties. Now speaking during the Masengeli Cup 2025 finals held in Saboti, that is in Trans Nzoia County, Murkomen said the move is part of renewed efforts to curb drug abuse, which he noted continues to affect a growing number of young people across the country. The Cabinet Secretary warned that illegal brews and narcotics pose a serious threat to the public health, security and national development, particularly among the youth. Now he said security agencies have been directed to step up surveillance and enforce operations along porous border areas commonly used by traffickers.
Tuweze kudhibiti the use of alcohol, drugs na bangi. Isikuwe ni hii siku leo peke yake, but tupeleke hiyo campaign mpaka siku za uko mbeleni so that we can have a community. Ya mwisho ni just to ask you youth, don't accept to be used by anybody to commit crime, especially mambo kama za goons or criminal gangs. Desist, msikubali.
Shida kubwa hapa Trans Nzoia ni mambo ya miadarati na pombe haramu. Na tumekubaliana kwamba tunaweka bidii. Tuko na shida kidogo kwa sababu Trans Nzoia ni border county, Bungoma ikielekea Busia na kwenda huko West Pokot. Hiyo porous borders ndio wakora wanatumia kuleta pombe haramu ambayo inaumiza vijana wetu. Lakini mwaka ujao tutaendelea na ile tulisema crackdown kuhakikisha kwamba tumepambana na wale aswa mabwenyenyi ambao wanatumia pesa zao kuumiza vijana katika taifa.
All right, moving on, residents of Transmara have been urged to end ongoing clashes and surrender all illegal firearms to the government before the start of the new year as authorities intensify efforts to restore peace in the volatile region. Now, speaking during the burial of Johanna Mibei, a driver who was shot dead by bandits in Angata Barikoi, that is in Narok, Deputy Governor Kiprono Koech called on communities living along the border areas to reject violence and embrace peaceful coexistence. He emphasized that continued fighting only leads to loss of innocent lives and destruction of property. In a move aimed at finding a lasting solution to the conflict, the Narok County government has established a 120-member peace committee comprising representatives from the rival communities. The committee is expected to spearhead dialogue, reconciliation, and community-led peace initiatives.
All the time kama county kuhakikisha tumepata suluhisho ya Angata. Tulijaribu ile yote tuliweza, lakini mambo ilienda vile ilienda. Hii ingine imeanza hapa chini, ndio imetuletea shida ile kubwa sana katika Kenya hii. It has been the topic of this country for the last 1 week that kuna vita iko Angata na watu wanauliwa kiunyama kwa barabara. Hiyo ni kitu haijaifanyika. Tunasikianga hii maneno kule Baghdad, kule Iraq. Sio Angata, ifai kuwa Angata. Ilikujaje mpaka ikafika hapa Angata? Kama uliuza shamba na unataka kulete mzozo, tunafaa kukemea, hatutaki maneno kama hiyo.
All right, moving on, the Kenya Meteorological Department has issued a heavy rainfall warning for several parts of the country, with rains expected to intensify through the weekend. Now, in a statement, the department warned that anticipated rainfall poses a moderate to high risk of flooding, particularly in low-lying areas, regions near rivers and urban centers with poor drainage systems. Now, counties expected to be affected include Migori, Homa Bay, Kisii, Narok, Kajiado, Makueni, Machakos, Nairobi, Kericho, Bomet, southern parts of Kitui, as well as Taita Taveta and Kwale. Now, residents in the listed areas have been urged to remain vigilant, avoid crossing flooded roads and rivers, and adhere to advisories issued by local authorities and emergency response teams. The public has also been advised to take precautionary measures to safeguard lives and property. Right, that particular story takes us to our first break here on EBN Weekend Edition, but we'll be back in just a bit. All right, welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now, the government has announced plans to construct a memorial tower at Chetambe Fort, that is in Bungoma County, to honor residents who lost their lives resisting colonial rule. Now, speaking during the Tachoni Cultural Festival, Speaker of the National Assembly, that is Moses Wetangula, said the memorial will be built on a 20-acre site in Webuye East. He emphasized that the tower will serve as a historic tourism hub while preserving the heritage of the community and paying tribute to the freedom fighters. Now, local leaders welcomed the initiative, encouraging residents to maintain unity and peace as the county prepares to celebrate the upcoming new year. Now, the project is expected to become a key site for historic education and cultural preservation, fostering a deeper appreciation of the community's struggle for independence.
Ikiwezekana tutenge pesa ya serikali, tujenge monument mzuri hapa, tukijua watu wetu walikufia hapa, wengine waliponea hapa. Hakuna haja ya kuwa monument hapo Chetambe na ofisi hapa town. Let's have a complex there. Na kama shamba iko hata ikiwa kwa mikono ya watu binafsi, tutafute pesa tununue. Kama jamii za Kenya, umoja wa jamii ndio umoja wa nchi yetu. Mkizingatia utamaduni wenu ndio kulinda mila zetu.
Now, as the festive season continues, administration police officers in Malindi spent time giving back to the community by visiting the Mama Anakuja orphanage. The initiative aimed at bringing joy to support the children who have faced difficult life circumstances. Now, led by Sub-County AP Commander Samuel Karaoke, the officers engaged with the children through various activities, emphasizing care, protection, and the importance of community support. Commander Karaoke said the visit was a collective effort by the unit to remind the children that they are valued and cared for. Orphanage manager Naomi Wambua welcomed the officers' presence, noting that it is critical in fostering trust between the children and the police, particularly when it comes to reporting cases of abuse. Now, some of the children at the home are survivors of sexual abuse, while others have been abandoned.
So tulikaa tukaona ni mzuri, watoto ni watoto wamepitia mengi, na vile wanakaa tukaona ni mzuri tukuje tujumuike nao ili wapili wajihisi kwamba wako na watu wao na wajihisi wanapendwa. So sababu ya kuja hapa ni kubonda na hao watoto na kuonyesha kwamba licha wako hapo ndani kuna watu wanaojali huko nje, na pia kuna watu ambao wanawafikiria.
As for us, I think it's gonna help my kids be familiarized with the police at any point they are going on either feeling in the P3, at any point they're interacting with the police. And it's going to ease even my work. Anytime the child is at a point, is supposed to maybe give a testimony or witness in a case or field.
All right, that's a good gesture right there. And of course, let's continue sharing with the less fortunate and spreading love through this festive season. All right, now moving on, former cabinet minister Shirao Ali Mwakwere has been formally installed as the spokesperson of the Mijikenda community in a cultural significant ceremony held in Vishakani village, Kaloleni constituency, that is in Kilifi County. Now, the installation took place at the historic home of the late Ronald Ngala, a revered national leader widely recognized as the father of Majimbo. Now, the event drew Kaya elders, professionals, political leaders, and hundreds of community members from across the coast region, underscoring the importance of the occasion. Now, beyond the installation, the gathering also served as a remembrance of Ronald Ngala, legacy and his contribution to Kenya's political history and the advancement of regional governance. Now, speakers paid tribute to Ngala's leadership, describing him as a unifying figure whose ideals continue to influence national discourse.
Kama mji wa Ngala hatujasahau na hatutamsahau, na nyinyi bila shaka hamtamsahau. Nimekubali kuchukua uongozi huu, nimekubali kuongea yale ambayo wenyewe nyinyi mtaniambia niongee, Sitaongea yangu mimi mwenyewe, huwa mkali sana mara nyingine, lakini nitakayoongea ni sauti ya wenyewe. Miji kenda zote 9 ni kitu kimoja, tua moja, sauti moja, mapangilio ya maendeleo mamoja.
Wakenya pale walipo, miji kenda leo wanaanza safari ya kujitambua na kudai haki zao kwa njia za kisheria.
Ati ni sasa mwanzo huu ambao tumeanza hivi, si kwamba tutaviacha leo, vitaendelea.
Hapa mimi si mgeni, na nikisimama hapa na kusema unyenyekevu wa marehemu Ngala, nitakuwa mimi niko na ujuzi kwa sababu nilikutana naye.
All right, moving on, Changamwe MP Omar Munyi has called for regular motivational session for young people every 2 months to ensure they benefit from the experiences of successful peers. His remarks came during an educational motivation event held at the Muindani Hall as part of cultural and traditional celebrations of the Changamwe community. MP Munyi emphasized the importance of fostering a supportive environment where youth can learn from each other and access opportunities in employment and entrepreneurship. Now, during the workshop, psychologist Dr. Hafida Ahmad encouraged youth to actively follow and engage with successful individuals in their networks to achieve personal and professional growth. Now, her remarks were supported by Dr. Barua Tsuma, who shared examples of how youth can interact with productive members of society to gain practical life skills. Take a look.
Kufanikiwa kimaisha, pengine unafikia ndio ujenge majumba ya ghorofa, umiliki miji gani mikubwa, hayo ni mazuri na ni katika majaliwa. Lakini kuangalia kufanikiwa ni pale ambapo unaweza kujisimamia mwenyewe, ukapata ule mkate wako wa kila siku, na ukawa unaweza kusimamia mahitaji mengine ya kimsingi. Kwa mfano, unaweza kuwa na makao yako mwenyewe, watoto wako ukaweza kuwalipia karo ya shule. Hayo ni yale mambo ambayo tunaangalia. Mimi katika familia yangu ni mambo kama yetu. Unaweza kuona majumba yanajengwa. Wangapi wetu tunahitaji watoto wetu waanze kuapply boma yetu, waanze kusave boma yetu, waanze kulipa boma yetu, so that now wawe na nyumba yao kwao, maskani yao. Kuna programs za settlement schemes za government. In the next few months, tutakuwa na kwa settlement scheme 2, 1 schemes zimekuwepo. Swali linakuja, kwa nini vijana wetu hawa-apply those skills? Lack of knowledge, lack of awareness. Leo ukienda kwa Ministry of Lands Mombasa, application za wale ambao wanaomba ardhi kwa serikali utapata nyingi ni za watu wazima wa kutoka bara. Watu hapa hawaombi ardhi, wanasubiri kupewa ardhi. So I want to encourage you young boys, please anza kuomba ardhi. Afadhali unyimwe ndio umenyimwa wapi. So kuna application lazima ufundishwe how to do it. So ukija trust, utafundishwa how to apply for your own land. Every scheme, kuna opportunity of every Kenyan kupata ardhi mbalimbali. So usisubiri peke yako, watu wanaenda ardhi.
All right, that story wraps up our program here on EBN TV. Thank you so much for being with me, for staying with me until this particular minute. It is exactly 30 minutes past the top of the hour. My name is Macharia, and of course, on behalf of the entire team that made this broadcast success, we are saying asante sana and good night. My name is Macharia once again. Have yourself a lovely night, and of course, let's do this again when God says we do.